The World Series of Poker main event in Las Vegas continues, and a rare treat for us today. We don't often get to interview World Series of Poker main event winners, champions. Jamie Gold, welcome from Sky Poker. How's it going?
Thank you. It's going great. I'm having a good day. This is day one for me. We're only on the third or fourth level, and I'm at 47, so I feel good. I'm feeling like I got back in my zone.
It's a remarkable memory you got. It's a long time since you and I spoke, and you walked in and you said the Grosvenor in the UK 3 years ago. What a memory.
Absolutely remember. I love Sky. Whenever I go to the UK, that's obviously the channel that I turn on first. And I remember you and I had a lot of fun at the Grosvenor when they were having a tournament out there, and you were very kind to me, and I always remember.
Well, we had a long chat, and, you know, you've had an interesting time, haven't you? You won the World Series main event. I think you've done it in a remarkable way. Until the final day, you was never all in, is that right?
No, I was, the only time I was all in was on day one, and even on the final day I was never all in. Just on day one, I was all in many times. I was down to 3,000 on the first day at the dinner break. I thought I was going to go home, but I got up to about 50,000. Back then we only had 10,000 in starting chips. Now you have 30,000, so it'd be the equivalent of me being at 150,000, one of the top 10 chip leaders. Someone put me all in, and I had bottom set when there was a flush and a straight on the board. And I just thought, oh, God. But I just, after about 30 seconds, he called a clock on me, and he looked so angry. I've never seen someone, and I said that back then they allowed me to speak. And I said, I got bottom set. Everyone forgive me because I was taking too long. And then it started getting a crowd around, and he got really upset. And I said, you know I have bottom set. Why would you be so upset if you have me crushed? I said, I call. And he had nothing. And it was very odd. It was like, it was a really weird, I mean, he had, ace queen, but just a queen is all he had. So I faded the river, and that put me at about, the equivalent of now would be 300,000. So then I had 107,000, which would be the same as 300,000 now. So I was, massive chip leader of my day, but then there were other day starts. So I was still in the top 10, and then never all in.
The rules of the games have changed. You talked about discussing what you got. I've got bottom set. They don't allow that now, do they?
They don't allow any of it. It is a rule that I caused, I guess. The only place they let me play like that is in Ireland, which I love going out there and playing at the Irish Open, because they do allow me to talk. If you're heads up, you're allowed to flip over one card. It's the way I believe, the pure way of playing poker, I believe. A lot of people don't believe that, and that's okay, and the people who are in charge don't believe that. But there are some rumblings that the World Series here that they're going to change that back. One, because they believe, as a lot of very famous and very influential poker players believe, not myself, but people who are much more, powerful in the poker world than myself, believe that it should absolutely be allowed. And then I believe that it will create better ratings for the television show, because it's pretty boring if you're not allowed to speak. How many times can you watch ace king against pocket queens, on a flip? It just doesn't get that exciting after a while.
It's weird. I mean, I try and behave at the table, but I've had 3 penalties out here this season, because just you get playing a guy heads up in a normal tournament, in a normal hand, you say, I don't think you don't like that ace, do you? And suddenly you're penalised. It just doesn't seem right, does it?
It's very odd. I believe that poker is a social, psychological chess match, basically. It's a true competition, and to me, if you're not allowed to speak, then we should just stay at home on the internet, and that's okay, and we'll just play against each other on the internet, and then we can't speak, and then everything's fine. And so why do I have to travel all this way? I love people so much. I love the social part of it. I feel like, I'm pretty good at talking people in and out of their hands, but I'm not the best. And so there are obviously other people that would have an advantage, and I don't know. I just
it's weird,
I'm looking
isn't it?
forward. Yes,
yeah.
And I think in Europe that maybe the rules are a little more relaxed. But in general, I miss playing in Europe, and I miss traveling. I took 2 years off to work for the Global Creative Forum, which is an agency of the UN, raising money for charity. And I haven't been traveling. I haven't been on tour. And I just decided, with the group of people who I trust the most, that it's time to go back. So I'm going to start spending a lot of time in Europe, and I'm really excited about it. Plus, I have my new sponsor is a private jet company, Universal Jets. So Christian Mateus, the CEO, has offered me very generously a lot more private jet time than I used to pay for. So I now have this sponsor where I better take advantage of the private jets and fly around the world, right? So
that's
I want to come play poker with you out there.
As far as I know, in Europe, we can still do normal speech plays, so you'd be ever so welcome. I've got to say something quite personal now,
Sure.
but seriously, you look younger, fitter and happier than when I last saw you. After you won the championship, which is an amazing, life-changing thing, you got a bit of a rough ride, didn't you, on the sort of poker forums and press, and
Yeah.
you seem to bounce back. You seem a better person for it now.
Well, I had never done anything wrong. I mean, at least in my opinion. Obviously, I didn't do anything wrong where people misunderstood. They thought somebody backed me and that I didn't pay them, and people realized that that was just a crazy rumor. And of course, I made sure that the person was taken care of, and he didn't have to pay his gambling winnings taxes in America, and that's all we were arguing about. He didn't want to pay his taxes. I would have ended up with nothing. He didn't buy me in. I was just giving him a gift for a favor that he did for me, but he didn't want to pay his taxes, and so somebody convinced him to sue me, which I'm sure he realized was a mistake, and I had to defend myself, and so people started thinking I was a really bad guy. It takes a few years, but I think people have realized that not only am I not a bad guy, I'm just a little maybe too generous.